Hello. I have been wondering, can we play Deadlock with controller? Since it's a MOBA and there are multiple different items that we can use to, prevent aiming completely. And the short answer is yes, you can. It is very easy and thankfully, the only problem is the matchmaking is kind of dog shit right now. I tried playing like 3-4 matches and they have been abysmal. I was facing against like insanely top tier players. I don't know if I can call them top tier, but they were definitely ahead of me. And on top of that, they were, most likely playing with friends. So they were, cooperating really well. So that was like a very huge disadvantage of playing solo in Deadlock. And especially if you're a new beginner, I would say play with bots. So you can go here. So bot match, so that's what I have been doing. So with online co-op, so yeah, it has been very fun with online co-op. It's like kind of relaxing. I don't have to worry about failing the mission because there is not a lot of penalty for that. So what are all the problems? The first problem, there are 3 different types of problems that I have noticed, at least for now, and I didn't test every single hero. I tested as many as I can. And yeah, so the first problem is there are some abilities that will not trigger at all until a condition is met. So for example, IV super is, you need a friendly target to actually use the super, right? So if you want to, use any abilities, what you have to do is you have to press the left button. So it actually, enables this range thingy, and then you can press, the face buttons, basically X, A, B, Y. So if you press Y, it actually acts as an ultimate. So
hope you don't mind the pickup.
Yeah. And again, all the things that you can do are displayed here only, so you don't have to worry about that. So now you just press Y and you just land. So it's very simple, right? The problem is, imagine you don't have any friendly target. Now you have to fly. So if you try to press the same thing again, left button plus Y, it actually, so if there is no friendly target and if you try to press, it actually doesn't work. Now what I did notice is if you try to move like in any direction and if you just press, then it actually works. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what it is. So this is one problem. Another problem is, Mo and Krill.
There's nothing Maurice can't claw through.
So there are certain types of abilities that you channel, right? So for example, Mo and Krill has this burrow ability. So you can cancel it in the middle, but unfortunately you cannot do it with your controller. So if you do burrow,
let's dig.
It tells you that Y is cancelled, but if you press Y or anything, it actually doesn't work. Okay, so that's a problem. What I usually do is, since I'm playing with my laptop, so my keyboard is just around the corner. So what I do is, if I'm doing burrow,
you ready, Maurice?
Then I just press space button and it actually just works. And again, very similarly, Haze also has,
it's bad when
her super, right? Where it actually takes a while for the super to complete. But if you press Y, it actually goes to parry. So this is another problem, that you cannot just cancel it. You are basically parrying. Now you are at a disadvantage. Now your parry cooldown is your parry is on a cooldown. So now you are very vulnerable, right? So there are quite disadvantages of all of this. But apart from that, the biggest advantage that I found are the items. The biggest favorite item for me is split shot. It is an active item, yes, and it is not easy for beginners. I agree, but split shot just allows me to not shoot, exactly. And because of that, aiming is actually kind of easy. And on top of that, again, not only split shot, but ricochet and lucky shot, all of these are very useful. Like you don't have to exactly aim. And the advantage is the cooldown for split shot is not that high. Okay, wait. I think it's around 14 seconds. Yeah, 14 seconds. So it's not that high. So it's very easy for me to aim, especially, trying to clear the wave. That has been awesome with split shot. And as I agree, you are basically locking an entire slot for split shot. I get it, but, for people who want to play with, controller, it's very, very, user friendly basically. So that's one advantage. Another thing that I changed is, unfortunately there is no button that you can use to go to this dashboard thingy. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my laptop keyboard to press escape, and then I'm getting this. So what I did is I went to settings and then keybinds, and again I'm using my laptop touchpad. So here the first thing is regarding the abilities. So what I did is I just pressed instant cast. So what happens is as soon as I press the ability, so there are multiple different things. So ability default, let me show you that. So let me press Ivy. I think she has.
I'll do anything to keep the people of Spanish Harlem safe.
So for example, you are pressing your left button and then pressing X. It actually doesn't throw immediately. So what you have to do is you have to press right click. So it's nice, right? Like, let me actually just do this. So you can like, it is very nice to actually have this ability, but it's like it takes time, right? So what I did is I just used instant cast. So that has been like, I get it, most of the time it actually doesn't go where I want, but it's okay, I'm still learning. So eventually I think instant cast is like very, very good for controllers. Now confirm cast, and I didn't notice a huge difference between quick cast and confirm cast, so I don't know what is the difference, but instant cast has been awesome. And another thing is, self casting. I used double tap. So for example, if I'm buying where is this, healing right, so I can, if I'm pressing it once, right, where is Infernus? Where the fuck is this guy? Okay, there he is. So if I'm actually pressing this once, it actually heals him, but if I press double times, it actually heals me. So I am actually still testing this out, because there are two options. I can either do double tap or press and hold. Press and hold has been nice. There has been not a lot of issues, because I just press hold and it actually does that. So again, I've been just testing this out, and I didn't notice a huge difference. Both double tap and holding is like kind of same only. So one thing you might actually be noticing is my controller sensitivity is absolutely low, right? And the main reason is because I want to aim, and unfortunately because of that I had to reduce the controller sensitivity. So let me actually tell you guys about the entire control scheme. Now, this is a tutorial. If you enjoyed till now, then please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. But let's actually get to the controller settings. So you can actually change most of the settings by pressing this controller icon and going to edit layout. So by default, thankfully, Deadlock actually supports Steam input, and because of that only I'm able to even play the game. So thankfully Steam input works really, really well, apart from some janky elements. But I think when Deadlock does release officially to the public, I think they will actually fix all of these issues. So going to settings, joystick and then camera, the first thing I changed is this sensitivity to 120 degrees. By default it is at around 270 degrees and it is impossible to aim. So it is very quick, so aiming is almost impossible. Most of the time I'm just overshooting. So because of that I actually kept it at 120 degrees. Initially I kept it 90. It was great, I was aiming normally, but then I slowly increased, and for me I felt 120 degrees was perfect for me. I tried 180 degrees, 150 degrees, and most of them didn't work, so I just left it at 120, and yeah, I'm just having fun. The biggest disadvantage is if anyone is behind me, well, I cannot see them. Basically it takes like 1 to 2 seconds for me to go like turn around. So that is the only disadvantage. But maybe eventually, as I get used to controllers, so I can increase the setting, like sensitivity. So that's one thing. And again, if you want to change it, in granular level, so there is this thing called fine adjustment, right? So you have to press Y. So I'm using Xbox layout, pressing A and then press Y to do, fine adjustments. I just kept it at 120. For me, 120 has been fine. If you want to change it, then definitely try and see. So this is one thing, right? So what all the things can we do? So let me actually go back to the game and I will explain everything. Okay, welcome back. So now what can we do? So by default, I think a lot of people might already know, right joystick is for controllers and left joystick is for movement, but you can press the left joystick to dash basically, and the right joystick, if you press it, then you are doing melee. So if you hold it, then you do heavy melee, and if you just press it, you just do light melee. And this is for dashing. Okay, that's one thing. So now let's actually talk about triggers. Left trigger is the right click mouse button basically, so you zoom in. And the biggest unfortunate part is heroes like SHIV, where they have a unique right ability, right, like right click, it's actually kind of hard to do aiming, and it's because of that. I mean, you can do, right, like you can actually try, and it can definitely work, but it's like it's very hard and it's unfortunately not easy. So for me, heroes like SHIV and YAMATO are not easy to play because of this problem. But apart from that, most of the abilities do have like zoom in ability. And actually I noticed that the zoom in ability for different heroes is completely different. So unfortunately my network just went out. Sorry, my power went off actually. So but either way, you can see that zoom for Mo and Krill is insane. So yeah, so it depends on character, but apart from that, you should not have any issues. Now if you press the left button, I actually told you, right, like this is the range ability, and on top of that, if you press the phase buttons, this is where you can use all your abilities. So you have to simultaneously hold the left button and then the phase buttons. You have to press any one of them. So
Tear them apart.
So yeah, so left button and phase buttons will actually do all the abilities. So that's one thing. Right click actually is like the chat thingy. So unfortunately I don't know how to make it work. Like this is the one thing that I don't know what to do. So yeah, so this is one thing that I am very confused. The advantage of this is, most of the time if you just go in the general vicinity, it actually just auto aims or hovers basically. So that's advantage, is that basically if you want to say that hey, Abrams is there, so you can just aim at the general vicinity and it just works. So that's one good thing. So now what about the D-pads, directional pads? So if you go to shop and use any active abilities, right?
New York tuxedo.
So active abilities is only useful with the directional pads. So it starts from left and then goes to down, right, and then up. So if you press, right, so it's kind of simple, right? So active abilities are not that hard. So most of the time what I do is I buy split shot.
Don't get dead.
And then for heroes that actually benefit from bullet lifesteal, so what I do is, it's very easy with D-pad, right? So I just do this immediately and it's like very easy for me to aim and basically steal health. So yeah, so active abilities are not that hard with controller. So yes, for a beginner it might be hard, but thankfully game controller makes it very easy. So let's start talking about these. Xbox has these unique left and right button. I don't know what to call them, but usually you get this symbol of showing this right arrow. So if you press that, shop opens. You can control the cursor with your right joystick for slow movement, and if you use your left joystick, it actually changes very fast. So most of the time I never use my left joystick to do anything. And if you hold the left button, that's where you can upgrade your abilities, and it's basically like a tab basically. So you can see all your points on the this side. So this is very similar to tab only. So you can upgrade.
Get in there and give them hell. I'm not afraid.
So
to
you
take
can upgrade
shortcuts.
and you can look at all the stats and what is the damage you're getting. So yeah, so this is very useful. I don't know if anything is missing right now, but apart from that, these are all the controls that you need. Another thing is, let us imagine you are actually aiming up and everything. If you hold the X button, it actually resets the camera position. So that's one good thing. Also yeah, the phase buttons, right? So by default all the phase buttons have their own thingies. So if you press A, it is jump, so double press basically does that. X is reload, so X is reload, B is crouch, and Y is parry. So okay, so that's very easy. So if you want to use the abilities, then you have to hold the left button and then the phase buttons. So that's one thing, right? So yeah, if you are like doing something, what? Okay, man, I'm really bad at aiming, but okay. But okay, so that's one thing, right? So if you just press hold X, it just resets the camera position. So it's very easy. Let's imagine you are like trying to focus, and then you can use this like to reset. So it's very nice. One thing that I did find very nice is, if you are like behind a cover, if you do crouch, like it becomes very easy to steal and secure souls. So that's one thing that I have been doing non-stop, especially with Haze and Ivy. They are very short, they are very tiny characters. So let me just get to Ivy.
Maybe today won't be so
She's
boring
such a
after
gremlin,
all.
dude. So the first thing is, if you press B, like she's so tiny, dude. So it's like very easy for me to aim. Not aim, sorry, like securing souls. So that's one thing that I've been doing non-stop basically. So I'm just crouching and then doing like stealing and securing my souls. So yeah, it is actually not impossible to play Deadlock with controller, and thankfully, since this is a MOBA, the abilities actually make it so much easier. And even abilities like cheat death or Diviner's Kevlar that actually gives you barriers basically. So in case you are in an absolutely dire position, you can still get out, right? You can still live. And aim is not the most important thing. Movement is very important. And thankfully, controllers actually give you a lot of good access for moving. The only problem is, of course, yes, the camera is the only unfortunate part. It's very slow. But if you get used to fast movement and shooting with fast movement, then yeah, I think you can have an absolute blast. So yeah, so it's very easy, at least for now. The only unfortunate problem is still the matchmaking, dude. Like, it is so aggravating. Yeah, that's the only problem, and because of that I'm just playing with bot matches. So I'm having still fun, a lot of fun. So but apart from that, I just wanted to see if you can still play Deadlock with controller, and you can do it, and it has been very fun. It has been a very nice experiment, and I think I will just keep doing it because what is the advantage of doing it? Well, the thing is, I'm using a laptop, right? So by default I don't have a mouse which actually works. I just only have a touchpad. So if I need to use a mouse, then what I have to do is I need to connect a mouse, and then I have to sit in a position where it is easy for me to control the mouse, right? So I'm like, my room is already very tiny, so I cannot afford that much amount of time and space. So game controller is so easy. I can just lay down on my bed if I need to, or I can just sit using my pillow. I can like basically rest. So it's very easy to play the game, and it has been very easy. Like, it's very accessible for me, and that is my biggest advantage. I think anyone's advantage of playing a controller, right? And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to talk about if you can play Deadlock with game controller, and yes, you can. So it has been very nice, it has been very fun. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider liking and subscribing. I will actually do live streaming as well, so to see if it is even possible to actually go down the competitive, like not competitive, but like going higher in the trophy system. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, so I just see if it is possible or not. But yeah, I just wanted to talk if we can play Deadlock with controller, and it is possible. So yeah, I'm just rambling at this point, but either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking and subscribing, and that's it. I hope you have a nice day. Take care of your health, sleep well, and bye.